AMANA Voice, the voice of trust. Brought to you by the American Muslim Association of North America. Each and every Sunday evening at 6 p.m. Each week we will bring to you issues confronting our community. Join us this Sunday at 6 p.m. for AMANA Voice, the voice of trust. Brought to you by your Muslim neighbors on WTPS 1080 AM, the People's Station.
News Talk 1080 AM WTPS, Coral Gables, Miami-Dade, Broward, and the Palm Beaches. The People's Station.
We begin in the name of Allah, most gracious, most merciful. All praises and glory is due to Allah, Lord of the worlds. We seek refuge in Allah from Shaitan the rejected. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. May the peace and blessings of Allah be upon each and every one of you tonight. To begin our program tonight, we would like to have a Quranic recitation, and inshallah after that we'll be conducting an interview with three lawyers here, immigration lawyers. So stay tuned, inshallah.
أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم.
In the name of Allah, the Beneficent, the Merciful.
الحمد لله رب العالمين الرحمن الرحيم مالك يوم الدين إياك نعبد وإياك نستعين اهدنا الصراط المستقيم صراط الذين أنعمت عليهم غير المغضوب عليهم ولا الضالين.
Praise be to Allah, Lord of the worlds, the Beneficent, the Merciful, owner of the Day of Judgment. Thee alone we worship. Thee alone we ask for help. Show us the straight path, the path of those whom Thou hast favored, not the path of those who earn Thine anger, nor of those who go astray.
Assalamu alaikum, peace be with you. I'd like to welcome you to our Islamic radio program, Amana, the voice of trust, brought to you by the American Muslim Association of North America. Our contact information before we begin this program, if you'd like to contact Amana, you can email us at al-amana.org. That's al-amana.org. If you'd like to have receive any information on the religion of Islam, you can call us at 305-987-9314. That's 305-987-9314. 897-9314. I'd like to also give out the information for the phone lines here at the station. If you'd like to call in, if you have any questions for our guest here, we have three lawyers with us, immigration lawyers. I'll give out the number. Please write it down and call in during our program. It's 1-877-825-1080. That's 1-877-825-1080. Well, I think most of our listeners know that the immigration problems that we have, it's a hot topic in the media and has been for quite some time now. Mainly because there are so many immigrants in the United States of America, and many people are affected by some of the policies, the immigration policies. It's still the place of choice here, the United States of America. And there are so many changes in the laws, in the immigration laws, that it is very hard to keep up with, especially after 9/11. We're fortunate this evening to have three distinguished lawyers with us, immigration lawyers, And they'll hear and they're willing to answer whatever questions you may have based on the program we're going to have for the next hour or so. Let me introduce our lawyers. We have Sister Tagreed Hassan. Assalamu alaikum, sister, and welcome to our program tonight.
Wa alaikum assalam.
And we have also Sister Carolina. Assalamu alaikum, welcome to our program, sister.
Welcome, thank you.
And Sister Sharu, welcome to our program.
Assalamu alaikum.
And I'd like to start with maybe Sister Sharu and tell us a little bit about your organization and what you do.
My name is Sharu again. I work for the Florida Immigrant Advocacy Center. We advocate for the human rights of immigrants of all nationalities. We offer free direct legal representation to immigrants. And we also engage in impact advocacy on broader abuses. And I work more in the latter on policy issues.
I think a lot of our listeners would like to hear that word free. Can you tell us a little bit about some of the cases that you handle?
We basically offer free representation to people who meet certain income requirements, to people who cannot afford a lawyer. And because the demand is so great, we tend to focus on the most vulnerable. So we focus on children, on people in detention, also on victims of domestic violence and other very vulnerable groups.
Okay, and let me introduce again Sister Tagreed. Can you tell us a little bit about yourself and about your practice?
My practice is located in Fort Lauderdale, West Fort Lauderdale. I've been an attorney for 7 years now. I've been practicing in Florida for about 5, and I have a practice that focuses mainly on immigration, and I also do some simple family matters, divorces, family agreements, and the like. And
Sister Cheryl, would you like to tell us a little bit about... I'm sorry, Carolina. Tell us a little bit about your practice and what you do.
We are 4 attorneys. The name of my firm is Alvarado, Rosso, Maluche, and Nice. We actually do a wide variety of law. We handle insurance defense, real estate litigation, family law, immigration, criminal defense. And I primarily do immigration law. I do a lot of also removal proceedings and the likes of litigation cases. And we also do also the administrative aspect of immigration and also the business aspect, which is the labor certifications and the H visas and so forth.
Okay, I'd like to throw out a couple questions and feel free to jump in wherever you feel is necessary. As for me, a lay person, I know it is very difficult to keep up with the rapid changes in the immigration laws. You may have a particular law in effect today, and then next week it changes altogether. How do lawyers keep updated with all the changes that goes on with the immigration laws? There's a lot of work you got to do. You got to keep updated through emails or through studying.
Well, you belong to different organizations. And that's first and foremost, and that's how you keep informed. You have to keep informed also by reading, the paper and keeping up with what Congress is doing, with the Supreme Court. Actually, the Supreme Court ruled on a very important case this past Wednesday, the Lopez's case, which helps a lot of detainees that have, simple possession cases. And so forth. So you keep informed by actually reading, belonging to organizations, speaking with your colleagues, and so forth.
Are you willing to tell us a little bit more about the Lopez case? Or?
The Lopez case, which is actually, I have it with me. I had it today. I was going over it with one of my clients today at Chrome. Basically, what the court held that a simple, felony case under state law might be a misdemeanor under the Controlled Substances Act. And what it did was basically a lot of the detainees who have a possession case, what the government did was they considered those cases aggravated felonies, which calls for one, probably mandatory detention, depending on what you were charged with and what was the disposition of your original criminal case. And number 2, you're being removed from the country on that.
Really?
And what the court did was they distinguished, when you're charged under state law compared to a federal statute or the Controlled Substance Act. So that helped a lot. That's helping a lot of cases. I anticipate a lot of cases will be reopened, especially for those who are detained right now.
Okay. Our number to the studio is 1-877-825-1080. That's 1-877-825-1080. What are the things? What are the other things in society, let's say, affects the changes in our immigration laws? Besides crime, would you like to answer that?
Well, I think September 11th had a huge impact on the way there was a backlash after that I think really, in a lot of ways, targeted the wrong people. There's been a significant amount of anti-immigrant legislation and policies and practices that have taken place since that time, and there's also been a reaction to that. So there have been people who have stood up on behalf of immigrants of all nationalities and tried to change some of those practices and policies.
What about the economic situation? I've heard a lot of people cry about immigrants coming to this country, taking their jobs away from them. How much does this affect the changes in immigration laws?
Well, I believe that historically, when the economy's gone bad, people have always wanted to point fingers at somebody, and it's usually been immigrants who take the worst wages, and that's people. That's where people have placed the blame historically when the economy becomes bad. As the economy becomes better, then people look for new workers to keep up the economy. So that's generally how the trends have gone. And we're hoping that as the economy improves, more people are receptive to foreign workers and people being able to come into the U.S. and work.
Okay, I'd like to give out the number again in our studios. You can call us at 1-877-825-1080. That's 1-877-825-1080. This is your opportunity. You know how expensive lawyers are nowadays. I know a lot of our listeners, if you have to go to immigration lawyers, you have to cough up some serious dollars. So we have free advice at our studios, 1-877-825-1080. Now, I want to talk a little bit about, in details, if you can, about how drastically the laws have changed. Tell us a little bit about pre-9/11 and then the establishment of the Homeland Security after 9/11 and how that affected immigration laws. Would you like to talk a little bit about that?
It's affected a lot, like they were saying before. It's not only the perception, but it's also the way I see it is how they're actually enforcing these laws. The enforcement aspect has become very grave to me. I see almost a selectiveness of the way that the treatment goes on. When you request a special travel document for someone who's been detained, and for example parole or what have you, and when you have an officer tell you, well, where's the person from, and you say, for example, they're from Egypt, and no, I'm sorry, I can't do that. That to me seems like, wait a minute, are you asking me, is that because that he's from Egypt, or you're asking me because what reason? You just want to get the information. You don't know who the client is. Post September 11, basically, not only do you have the new rules and regulations and the Patriot Act and different, articles under that, but that call for a lot more strict enforcement and more vagueness in the way you detain people, or what you can bring forward, or issues that come up with, such as, you're in a hearing and they want to know, well, what happened? Why are you accusing my client of this? Why are you speculating? Well, we can't say, secret evidence issues. Well, what kind of secret evidence? How can you defend your client? How can you, advocate for your client when you don't have the information that they're trying to bring forward against your client? And at the end of the day, those issues are not true. But it's just a way of allowing the government to use it, or just bring it forward to the judge. So it just rings in the judge's mind, well, maybe this person did something.
Yes.
Or when you're
Go ahead.
advocating for
I was
them.
just going to build on that,
Yeah.
that I think Carolina raises an extremely important point about the secrecy of things post 9/11. You asked how we stay on top of changes, and I was thinking to myself, well, they've done a lot of things secretly, that there hasn't been transparency in what's been happening. So, for example, post September 11th, when the large boatload of Haitians arrived on the Rickenbacker Causeway, the federal government secretly changed its policy to keep Haitian asylum seekers in detention for the purposes of national security. So I think a lot of what's happened has happened behind closed doors, where the people, immigrants, their advocates are not always aware of the changes that are taking place, and it becomes very difficult to advocate when you don't even know what the policies are until it's changed.
Yes.
I'd like to add also that the purpose of the immigration services has changed drastically before 9/11, and probably before then also. It was seen as a service type organization that was meant to service immigrants and facilitate the unity of families in the U.S. After 9/11, the purpose of their organization, or their mission that they've seen, has changed to enforcement and securing the country from immigrants. Essentially, that shift in policy, or that shift in view of what the organization does, changed drastically how they treat immigrants, how they service them, and basically, and it has to do also with the secrecy of how they treat the immigrants and detainees in general.
Now, I'd like you to touch a little bit, if you can, about the wet foot, dry foot policy. Was this a policy that came into effect before 9/11 or after 9/11? And to me, it seemed to be a very unfair policy in favoritism of one group of people over another. And it's against the equality of humankind. Tell us a little bit about what you know about the wet foot, dry foot policy, and how can the community, our listening audience, work towards making some sort of fairness in this policy?
I know some of it, and I can't recall whether that policy was in effect prior to or after September 11. I'm not sure. But basically what it calls for, if you touch ground, if you're a Cuban national, you touch ground in the United States, you touch land, then you're allowed to stay and go ahead and proceed forward with any type of adjustment and so forth. We had a big issue, I believe, this year. I'm not sure if it was this year or the end of last year, when some Cuban nationals came in and landed on the old bridge off Key West. And the bridge was not attached to, the issue was that the bridge was not attached to actually the land anymore, because it's divided because of the new bridge. And those people were sent back to Cuba. Well, all efforts got them back here because there was a lot of protests. There were a lot of people coming together as a community and having the government basically say this is not fair. If you're going to have a policy like that, you can't say that a bridge that's not attached to land anymore, when it was at one point, that you can go ahead and then go ahead and change it. But that's one of the policies for just, let's say, the Cubans. But again, policies like that, I believe that all communities need to stand together for immigrants.
Yes.
Everybody has to stand together because we're all immigrants. I'm an immigrant. And as immigrants, we need to come together and basically standardize procedures. We need to standardize these procedures. We can't be so selective for certain people. We need to come together and have something comprehensive for everybody.
Yes. Would you like to add anything to this?
I guess I would add that I think I would echo what Carolina is saying, and also that these policies are very divisive, but I would try to focus on, I think, all people should be treated as the Cubans are being treated, and that we shouldn't lower what's going on for the Cubans. I think that that's, it's very important for them, and it should remain in place for them. I just hope that all peoples, Haitians, people from Central America, people from the Middle East, could also be treated as well.
What about efforts to change the policy? What are some of the things that we can do in order to have somebody out there listen about changing, about making fairness for all human beings,
Well, I would say first and foremost, if you qualify, sign up and become a citizen so you can go ahead and vote.
Oh.
And you can contact your congressperson. I tell that to people all the time. If you can become a U.S. citizen, go ahead and do it. And whatever policies we want change, whatever changes we want, it's our vote. It's our pressure on our, elective officials. People don't realize that. And I think what we have to think about the Cubans, especially in Miami, is that they have come together in unity. They've become U.S. citizens. They go out there, they speak, they vote, they pressure their officials. We want this, we want that. Look what happened with the Cubans that were returned.
Yes.
They were brought back. Why is it that the other immigrants can't do that? We need to integrate, and we need to go ahead and understand that this system is for everybody. For everybody. I have the hardest the problems with especially with Middle Easterns when I get that point across. You have to get involved. You have to get involved with society, with your officials. Get your own officials out in there, but you got to do it. You got to become a U.S. citizen.
Our number at the studio is 1-877-825-1080. That's 1-877-825-1080. We have 3 highly qualified immigration lawyers in our studios tonight, and they have free, F-R-E-E, information to give out. So take the opportunity and call in and ask them whatever questions that you want concerning your immigration status, your immigration problems. If your papers are pending forever, please call up and find out what type of information you can get tonight. 1-877-825-1080. That's 1-877-825-1080. Another topic that's been talked about, and I would like to hear your comments on it, is about the erection of a border fence, and just basically your opinion about putting up a border fence, and what are your pros and cons concerning this, being immigration lawyers? Would anyone of you like to handle this very serious topic?
I think it's shame on us for allowing it.
Yes. Why do you think so?
Because it's almost like creating apartheid, in a way. You're creating a division. You're creating a division between societies.
Yes.
And we're going into the future. The future calls for more of a global stance on laws, on humanity. And by putting up these walls, they're not going to stop people coming into the United States by building a wall. But what you're creating is this perception is us versus them. And that in itself just creates more chaos. That's my personal opinion.
Yeah. So Cheryl, would you like to say anything about this?
Yeah, I totally agree with that. I think, instead of, it would be far more appropriate to look at what is not working and how enforcement measures have not worked so far, rather than erect a wall. I think that, we continue to enact new draconian, drastic measures instead of looking at, this system doesn't seem to be working. There are a lot of people coming and there are a lot of jobs that aren't being done. Here, how can we fix that problem, and how can we deal with the people that are here in a humane and dignified way? I think there was a lot of talk about comprehensive immigration reform last year, and all we got was a fence. And it's insane to me.
Yes.
I think basically it's a very simple-minded, very lazy solution to the socioeconomic problems of Mexico. And it's really just unfortunate that they couldn't come up with a better solution, so that both societies can be utilized. And essentially, I mean, right now this is an international global community. We can't build fences anymore to solve problems. And this was really just a simple-minded, very lazy solution for people who are just not creative at all.
Why do you think they became so bogged down in finding a solution, and they just jumped to the fence? Let's put up a fence, and then everything will be okay. It seemed to be that that's the solution that they came to. Did they lack a comprehensive study on how to solve the problem economically, or to help maybe Mexico better their economic situation? And in turn, it would help us here in the United States, and it would solve some of the problems.
Well, we have an agreement with Mexico. We have the NAFTA agreement. I mean, what does that say for us? If we can have a free trade agreement with Mexico, but yet we're going to put up a wall to keep the Mexicans out. How does that work? It just doesn't make sense to me. I think that we need to be. We should not be reactive. We should be proactive.
Yes.
Because you can build a wall, but people are still going to come in.
In some ways, it sounds like the Palestinian-Israeli problem. Just put up a fence and it'll solve the problem. But it doesn't solve the problem. It makes people on one side or the other a little more angrier, a little more frustrated. And then things are done in which the laws are broken again. And it makes just a whole big mess of the situation, Our number at the studio is 1-877-825-1080, 1-877-825-1080. Please call us at the studios if you have any questions, any immigration questions. We have 3 qualified lawyers in here, and I will repeat that word again, FREE, free advice. Free advice. I would like to ask you about some of the major mistakes which are made by people who are trying to file for either their green card or trying to get naturalized. What are some of the mistakes, the big mistakes that we make if we try to do the stuff on our own? Somebody doesn't have money and they want to maybe put their papers in and apply. I know when I came to this country, I didn't have a penny in my pocket also, so I thought that maybe I can fill the papers out myself, but the laws now, it has changed so much. Tell us a little bit about what are some of the major mistakes that our listeners can look out for in order to help better the process.
I can answer that essentially because a lot of times for people who claim that they don't have the money to pay for an attorney, they end up sometimes going to notaries, and they rely on the advice of notaries, which sometimes can work out for them, but most times is incomplete knowledge of the immigration laws and of the daily changes. And you had asked before, how we keep up with immigration laws, and I can tell you that this is a daily struggle for us.
I bet it is.
Every morning we have to, look up on the website, see whatever changes, see what laws have been passed, see what new regulations have been passed. It is literally a daily job to do that. So notaries don't have the advantages that attorneys have to do this. And I believe that there are reasonable attorneys that do provide, services for reasonable rates, that it's really just not an excuse to not use attorneys. That was my plug from attorneys. But basically the mistakes that I see most people do is not provide the documents that are required. Immigration is generally good in terms of, giving back and saying that you don't have, so-and-so documents. But what most people fail to do is they fail to recognize that there are certain deadlines and certain expiration dates on applications and on requests to provide evidence. Many times these people receive these requests, they don't know what to do with them, and the time expires and their application is denied.
Okay, we have a call on the line. I'd like to put a call on. Hello, you're on the air. You have a question for our lawyers tonight?
Yes, good afternoon. My question, not really a question. I just need one of those lawyers' numbers. I could call him tomorrow. Is it available?
Yes, our lawyers are available. Would you like to give out your numbers, both of you, and maybe our listeners can come.
My phone number is 954-564-1099. My extension is 702. I also have a phone number in Dade, 305-893-1999.
Caller, do you have any questions in particular you'd like to ask our lawyers?
That's her number.
No, this time, sir. No.
Okay. Take the numbers for the other lawyer in here.
My name is Carolina Maluje.
Carolina. Yes.
Okay, the other number.
My name is Tagrid Hassan, and my phone number is 954-862-1763. You can call my office at any time.
Okay.
Okay, thank you. Are we up on a break right now? Okay, dear listeners, I'd like to give out the number once more. Please call in when we come back from our break. Our number is 1-877-825-1080. That's 1-877-825-1080. You have a couple minutes to think about the questions you'd like to ask our lawyers here at the studios. Please call in. Stay tuned. We'll be right back.
Al-Amana Voice, the voice of trust. This program is brought to you by AMANA, the American Muslim Association of North America. Al-Amana Voice radio program is sponsored by As-Salam Mediterranean Halal Markets, one of the largest halal market in Florida where you can purchase all you need from Middle Eastern grocery products. As-Salam Mediterranean Halal Market is located at University and Sunrise Boulevard at the northeast corner. Telephone 954-916-6266. Al-Mambar Arabic Community Newspaper, the oldest newspaper in Florida that brings the business closer to the public. 16 years of services. If you would like to promote your products, remember Al-Mambar. Pick up your December issue at the closest grocery store. Ashraf Halal Meat, one of the largest Caribbean market, a variety of West Indian products of halal meat such as chicken, lamb, and goats. Also, they carry a variety of seafood products and varieties of fruits and vegetables. Visit their location at 441 and 20705 Northwest 2nd Avenue, Miami. Telephone 305-654-0195. As-Salam Halal Restaurant. Are you looking for a delicious Mediterranean food? Come visit the best Middle Eastern halal restaurant where you can enjoy falafel, shawarma, kebab, and many other dishes. They are worth to try. As-Salam Halal Restaurant is located at University and Sunrise Boulevard at the northeast corner. Telephone 954-916-5193. The Oriental Bakery and Grocery, one of the largest and oldest Mediterranean market in Florida where you can purchase all you need from Middle Eastern grocery products. A great selection of halal products are available. Pita bread are baked daily on premises. The Oriental Bakery is located at Coral Way, 1760 Southwest 3rd Avenue, Miami. Telephone 305-854-0501. The law offices of Tagrid Hassan. For legal immigration and family law issues and concerns, contact their office at telephone 954-560-2743. Adam Travel Services, your travel partners for 30 years. For all travel needs, contact Adam Travel at 1-800-797-2326 or 954-916-1911. Finally, we would like to mention that Amana offers free translation of the Quran copies in English, Spanish, or in French. Also, free books on Islam. Send your request to Amana Fax, number 305-945-0399, or by email to info@al-amana.org. To learn more about Amana, the American Muslim Association of North America, please visit Amana website at www.al-amana.org. If you need a copy of today's programs, or if you have any questions, concerns, tips, or suggestions, please email us at info@al-amana.org. Again, info@al-amana.org.
Assalamu alaikum, peace be with you. I'd like to welcome you once more to our Islamic radio program, Al-Amana, the voice of trust, brought to you by the American Muslim Association of North America. If you'd like to get free information on the religion of Islam, please call us at 305 305-987-9314. That's 305-987. It's 898.
Yeah.
305, 898-9314. We had a slight correction in our number here. You can contact us by email at amana, al-amana.org. Our number in the studios tonight is 1-877-825-1080. That's 1-877-825-1080. In our studios tonight, we have 3 immigration lawyers here to answer any questions you may have concerning immigration situations. We have Sister Sharu, Sister Tagrib, and Sister Carolina. And I'd like to ask Sister Tagrib to continue with what she was trying to say earlier, and she was we had a caller on.
Essentially, I just wanted to reiterate the importance of deadlines. When you receive a notice from immigration, you have a certain amount of time to respond. You have to respond within that time period, or else your application will be denied. And also, something that when proper advice is not given, people lose their green card status if they receive their green cards. There are several ways that happens. They leave the country and stay out for too long a period of time. They might be a conditional green card holder, where after a certain period of time, they have to reapply for a permanent green card. These are just important issues that that you have to be aware of, or else you lose status. And many times it's very difficult to fix. And essentially with the changes in immigration laws, it gets harder and harder to fix these types of problems. It's very important to keep records, your dates of entries and exits out of the U.S. Something very important is if you are employed, you must file taxes. It comes back time and time again. It's a very important issue to file your taxes. And these are I'm just touching on some issues that are, very briefly, and, these can take up more time. But probably the most important thing that I'd like to present is the fact that if there is an arrest in your records, you have to have the records for it. You need to consult with not only a criminal attorney, you need to consult with an immigration attorney if you're not a U.S. citizen. These are things that come back that are fatal, that these things might be deportable even if you did not spend 1 day or 1 hour in jail. It's very important to consult with a criminal attorney that has an immigration background, or just have your criminal attorney consult with an immigration attorney.
Sister Sharu, would you like to add anything to this?
I'd just like to reiterate the complexity of immigration law, exactly as she was saying. And, in the beginning of the program, Carolina was talking about the Supreme Court decision and using words like aggravated felony.
Yes.
And there are a lot of curious immigration terms out there that aggravated felony under immigration law means one thing. It may be a crime that's neither aggravated nor a felony, to your knowledge. So it's extremely important to consult with a qualified immigration attorney, especially in Miami. Also, to reiterate another point, the problem with notarios and with scams, with immigration scams, is very much a problem. And I think it's something that I hope listeners will keep in mind. If there is immigration reform that is passed, there's often many people that come out from under rocks and try to sell different things to capture, basically to get money from people. And it's very important that you consult somebody that's qualified. You can call any of us, or, you can also get referrals from us for others, but it's very important to consult somebody who understands the complexity and is qualified.
Our numbers at the studio is 1-877-825-1080, 1-877-825-1080. I'd like to assure our listeners that if you call in, it's on the air. Nobody would come to your house and put you in a box truck and take you back to your country. It's on the air. It's if you want free information, call in. We're available. 1-877-825-1080. And I'd like to add to what you said. When I first came to this country many years ago, there were a lot of people who knew that I had just come in, and they came and offered me Social Security card for a couple dollars, you know, or I'll get your green card for you if you give me a couple dollars here and there. So there's a lot of fraud out there. And I'd like you to expound a little bit more on the fraud situation concerning people offering you a green card. I always tell people, if somebody says to you, I'm going to get a green card for you, you run. Just put on your shoes and run as fast as you can, because there's too many fraud out there, you know.
Well, what happens is, especially if you're an immigrant and
Yes.
you are caught and with any type of fraud or misrepresentation that you do
Uh-huh.
in order to obtain any type of benefit
Uh-huh.
from the United States, you're going home.
That's it.
You're going
You're
home.
done.
And you don't want to do that. You wouldn't pay someone off to get you a bank account.
Right.
You wouldn't pay someone off to, do the sale of your home or purchase your home.
Right.
Why would you pay to someone to get a document that one day is going to come back and haunt you? Do not use notarios. Do not use people that say, I'll fill out your paperwork. You may be saving money at that point, but you're going to be investing a lot more money come a couple years down the road, number one. And number two, do not buy or purchase anything that deals with immigration or anything else, or someone that's going to say that I'm going to do your taxes and they don't do your taxes, or I'll kind of change your numbers around so you don't have to pay so much taxes. All of this comes back, all of it.
Will it be going to the criminal lawyer then, or the immigration lawyer?
Well, if immigration gets wind of this, then you are going to be facing immigration court. If anything other than that, then you'll be in the criminal court, and then eventually you'll be in the immigration court.
And then send back home.
And then you'll be going home.
Oh,
and
that's too bad.
I want to say something about going home.
Uh-huh.
We have a lot of our community. There's a lot of people from our community. We probably have over 120 nationalities listening to us right
Yes.
now. But we have to also take into consideration that a lot of the Middle Easterns that are listening to us, and you are getting an order of deportation going back to your country, whether you're being escorted or not, by immigration and custom enforcement officers to your home country, the chances of your country, when you get there, they're being notified. Your government is being notified. The chances of you being put in prison are high. I have a couple of clients that's those are the possibilities.
So if somebody get a notice tomorrow, what should they do?
If you get a notice to appear,
Uh-huh.
hire an attorney and do appear. Do not go into hiding.
Okay.
You got to determine why you're being asked to go in front of the immigration court.
Yes.
But you have to be careful. You have to be really careful and be organized. Keep records. Just invest time in your immigration status.
Yes.
If your purpose is to stay in this country, then invest time and money.
Now, I want you to touch a little bit on, I know a lot of the common cases is where either male or female here in the United States of America, immigrant, want to stay here, and they arrange a marriage where they pay someone maybe $2,000-$3,000 to get married to them, and then they take pictures out together and to appear in front of the immigration judge later on. Tell me about the risk concerning that, please.
Well, essentially, in a word, don't do it. Immigration, they are extremely savvy. They see these cases every day. They know how to pick out the fraudulent cases, and they know the real cases. Essentially, don't do it. This is not, as it was before, where you can just take some pictures, open a bank account, and be done with it, and you have your green card. It's a lifetime commitment to be married to someone, and that's how it should be taken. It comes back to bite you. They can investigate you at any time, and essentially, if they do discover there was marriage fraud, and you got away with it at that particular moment in time, later on you will not be ever be able to apply for your real spouse or a real spouse because you committed marriage fraud.
Let me add something to that. One of the cases, AMANA receives complaints and receives cases in immigration for a long time. One of the cases that the immigration went to somebody's home, and this person, he got married after overstay his visa, thinking that he solved the problem. That's it. He's immune. They came to him, according to the other inmate who told us the other story after he been deported. He told them, I am married. They told him, the immigration officers, we know that you got married. I have permit. I applied for permit to work. They said, yeah, we know that. We know everything. We know that you are married. You know you are living even with your wife, which is very good. But you have to be deported. He said, why? How come? I am married. He said, no. Still, you have to go back to your home and wait for our approval. See, people unfortunately think that when they get married, that's it. It's the solution, the only solution, and nobody can touch. No, you're going to go even to worse process if you get deported. Thank you.
I'd like to touch on another very common situations that people find themselves in the United States of America. Husband and wife come to the United States of America, and it used to be easier maybe 10, 15 years ago. If you have a child here in the United States of America and they're born citizen, then the process would be much simpler to become naturalized. What are the laws concerning that now? I know that it has changed drastically, and there are some court sessions going on where they have deported the mother and kept the child, or something to the effect. Would you like to answer that, Shara, about the cases, or what's immigration law concerning a child here?
Well, maybe
American
somebody
citizen?
else wants to go into more detail about it. What I would say is I've met so many people in detention who have U.S. citizen children here and who do get deported. I believe that you can't petition for your parent until you're 18 or 21, right?
Yes.
Yes, people have, back in the 60s and 70s, it was easier.
Easy, yes.
You had a U.S. citizen child, and it's sort of like you paved your way to adjustment.
Yeah. Matter of fact, I had a high school teacher in Trinidad, and she was almost ready to make, baby, and she came over here and had the child and went back home, and it was much easier back then. Yes.
Right, it was, but the laws change.
Yes.
And now, just because you're in this country and you have a U.S. citizen child, it does not give you or grant you any type of adjustment. There's no waiver. It's not just automatic, oh, you have a U.S. citizen child. And if the parent gets placed in removal proceedings, then and the child has to go back with the parent, though that child is a U.S. citizen, that child will go back with the parent. The way the government sees it is that child is a U.S. citizen and will be able to return. However, is it fair? Not really, because then that child does not avail himself or herself from the rights and the responsibilities that you get as a U.S. citizen living in this country.
Yes.
But then again, it calls for changes in policy.
Yes. Sister Grebe, I'd like to ask you, I know we didn't get to this, but what are some of the most common cases you deal with? You deal primarily with Arabs, who are immigrants.
Essentially, the biggest problem that I have is dealing with the security clearances. Essentially, I believe that they put every single Arab or Muslim name in their directory, and if you have even a similarity to that name, you have to automatically go through a security check, a security clearance, which can take years, literally years. There are delays in naturalization because of the security check. There are delays in green card adjustments because of the security check. And essentially, it's just a problem that we've been trying to deal with on several different levels. And if I have a second to just plug in, if you do have those types of problems, please give my office a call or give Amana a call and just let them know that you have an application that's been pending for X number of years and someone will contact you.
Why don't you give out your number one time, because I think we have one more minute left on the program.
Again, my office phone number is 954-862-1763. If for some reason you can't reach me at the office, you can always contact Amana, and they will get in contact with me. And also, Attorney Carolina is also available
And
Yes, your
my
number.
number is 954-564-1099, extension 702.
Sister Sharu.
And the Florida Immigrant Advocacy Center can be contacted at 305-573-1106.
Well, I'm sorry that's your last chance for getting free information on the air, but when I consult with my director, I think we'll have the sisters back on the program later on, inshallah, God willing. I'd like to give out the number for information. If you like to email us, please email us at amana.org. That's al-amana.org. Our number for Islamic information is 305-898-9314. That's 898-9314. This is Brother Kamal.
We really appreciate your coming tonight.
Yes, we do. Jazakallah khairan. May Allah reward you immensely. Until next week, may the peace and blessings of Allah be upon each and every one of you. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
The plants and trees, He created the birds and bees, He created the oceans and seas, some of His many bounties. He made us on earth trustees to obey all His decrees. Oh Allah, have mercy, please. Clean away our heart's disease. جل الله في علا ما لنا رب سوى. جل الله في علا ما لنا رب سوى. جل الله في علا ما لنا رب سوى. قبل الوجود آخر بعد الخلود مطلق عن الحدود واجب له السجود رب واهب الحياة مجري الريح والمياه فاضت بالندى يداه للذي هدى جل الله في علا ما لنا رب سوى. جل الله في علا ما لنا رب سوى. جل الله في علا ما لنا رب سوى. Gave us the day and night. He gave us our sense of sight. He created the sun so bright. so pure and white. He saved us from our plight. He led us towards the light. He led us to the straight path through His mercy and His might. جل الله في علا ما لنا رب سوى جل الله في علا ما لنا رب سوى جل الله في علا ما لنا رب سوى The earth and the sky, Lord of the mountains so high, Lord of the earth and the sky, Lord of the mountains so high, Lord of the day and the night, Lord of joy and delight, Lord of the day and the night, Lord of joy and delight. Ya Allah, Jalla Allahu fi ula.
News Talk 1080 AM, WTPS, where information is power. The power of money with the South Florida Fact of the Day. Listen all day for the South Florida Fact of the Day. Then listen to Wake Up South Florida with James T between 7 and 8 a.m. the next weekday morning for your chance to win $1,080.
Hi, my name is Angela Hurst, and I just won $1,080.
Subhanallah, walhamdulillah, wa la ilaha illallah, wallahu akbar, wa la hawla wa la quwwata illa billahi al-aliyyil azim.
Glory be to Allah, all praise to Allah. There is no God but Allah, Allah is great. All power and might belong to Allah, the Most High, the Great. Subhanallah, walhamdulillah.
طلع البدر علينا من ثنيات الوداع وجب الشكر علينا ما دعا لله داع ما دعا لله داع. Oh, the white moon rose over us from the valley of Wada, and we owe it to show gratefulness where the call is to Allah, where the call is to Allah. أيها المبعوث فينا جئت بالعمر مطاع جئت شرفت المدينة مرحبا يا خير دار مرحبا يا خير دار. walk and bear the colors to God's way. طلع البدر علينا من ثاني